to the Eagle Eye Podcast. The #1 show to bring you all things Club America and English.
Oh, what a strike! Club America!
Your hosts for today are Ivan Pineda, Cristian Rosendo, Alexis Juarez, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Go! Now let's hit the field and start the show. America!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Eagle Eye Podcast. Today, we're going to be bringing you guys all the latest news in and around Coapa. We're going to be recapping that 2-1 victory at home against Necaxa. We're going to give you guys everything you need to know ahead of the America Puebla match at the Estadio Azteca and everything that's going on in and between those two things. And, of course, joining me today, as always, it is New York's favorite resident, Mr. Cristian Rosendo. Cristian, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Ivan. I'm doing good. I hope everyone is doing well. Ivan, I hope you're doing well. Excited to talk about America, favorite part of the week, recapping our Aguilas, even though they disappoint me so much, but I still love them.
Yeah, it's a love and hate relationship at this point with America, and we'll talk about all the flaws that we saw in and around the game against Necaxa because there was plenty, and I mean plenty of stuff to kind of, go really dig deep into what was going on wrong in there. But at the end of the day, America gets the 3 points. But again, we'll talk about that in just a second. We have news in regards to transfer rumors, at least players leaving. And no, it's not a foreign player, so don't get your hopes up whatsoever. And then we'll get you guys ready for the game against Puebla, which is on Saturday as well. At home, we'll see what happens. But with that said, Cristian, are you ready to talk all things America in regards to this game that happened against Necaxa?
Yes, sir. Let's get it going.
All righty then. Well, let's get started here. America faced off against Necaxa in what we expected to be a matchup where we thought America would go out there, dominate, do their thing, score a couple of goals, and put behind kind of that, bad performance against Querétaro. But Cristian, it was not that at all. It was a game in where, quite honestly, we were lucky to walk away with all 3 points. If anything, I think Necaxa deserved at least a point out of this. If not, all 3 points.
Yeah, no. So let's just start from the top. No, I think America started the game flat. Very minimal creative ideas coming from the team. And honestly, it just didn't look like in America like we're used to seeing. Last season, we saw very little from Linus and Suarez, very little from Roger. And just the midfield wasn't very cohesive. The defense, of course, same thing as usual. Not really up to par and what we need them to be. It was just a complete mess. And like you said, Ivan, it's lucky that Necaxa didn't know how to capitalize on a couple of these chances. Because I think the only good thing about the whole game is that Oscar Jimenez was almost perfect the whole entire game.
Almost perfect, indeed. I will say that I think it's on him. The goal that Necaxa score on us could have parried it better, but you are right. I mean, if it wasn't for Oscar Jimenez, this game would have been a whole different story. But then again, that's what your goalkeeper is there for, to do in order to keep those goals out. But let's talk about what you mentioned. America started off flat in the beginning. Actually, I would argue that they never really got out of that little slump. I think it was flat throughout the entirety of the match. Excuse me.
Definitely could argue that. Yep.
I mean, there was just no versatility going forward. It felt very much just that flat everywhere. The defense was just off. I mean, Cáceres maybe is the only one true highlight, but even then, he had a couple of situations here and there. The only one that really, really can say had a good game, besides Oscar Jimenez, is the man on the screen right now, which is Salvador Reyes.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about that a little bit, though. I think this is something that kind of us and almost every Americanista anticipated coming into the season, that Chava Reyes having a breakout season last year with Puebla, being named one of the defenders of the year, and we kind of knew he was going to get in a position like this. I don't think anyone expected it this early, but he's thriving right now. He has 2 solid games under his belt. Scoring in one, scoring in one, and everything points to him being a starter for Solari. And this could be the start of something new, because he adds this new offensive prowess that Fuentes was lacking last season, and that's what we kind of needed from Fuentes also. But I think Reyes can do a better job if giving the minutes, and right now he's proving himself.
He is definitely proving himself, and I think we all expected Chava Reyes to eventually break out into the starting 11, like you mentioned, but we did. I don't think any of us expected to be the second game right away. I thought maybe
Right,
by the
exactly.
sixth game, maybe he would already start breaking in there, getting that starting 11. But I don't see Luis Fuentes taking his position after this game at all, which is interesting because we just signed Luis Fuentes onto an extension contract. But it's not to say that Luis Fuentes won't play a vital role this season either.
Of course.
Because I think the more better Chava Reyes gets, the more attention he's going to get from the national team, right? And so we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, that left back position is he's going to have a lot of competition, especially with the big one being Arteaga in Europe. But who's to say that he can't go and do some work, So we'll have to wait and see. And promising stuff from Chava Reyes, right?
Definitely, yeah,
First
and
game.
of course. So you mentioned Fuentes and Reyes, and while they're both known for their, sometimes contributing to the offense, Reyes just has this extra spark, this little extra movement that kind of separates him from others. And I think that gives him the edge. And I think that's something America needs desperately right now when they know that our front isn't really creating what we need them to create. And if we need some help from the back, then everything's welcomed. We kind of knew that our 2018 run was a big part had to do with our defense contributing to goals. And in this game, and if you want to make a run like that, you need everyone to contribute. And I think Reyes is doing a phenomenal job for right now. But let's keep it going, though. We can't stop here.
Definitely. And I mean, just reading off a couple of things. Jacob Lau saying Oscar Jimenez saved us. He definitely did. We'll talk about that. There is Nico Castillo rumors, if I'm not mistaken. Christopher says we'll again talk about that in just a second. Also, Christopher is saying, America Twitter is going to hate me, but boy, do we miss Henry Martin.
It doesn't say boy there.
I know it doesn't, but we're trying to keep it PG-13 right here, Christian. All right, we're trying to keep it family friendly as much as we can. This is an interesting one, though. Now that we're talking about Chava Reyes, Jacob saying I would play Chava Reyes at left wing and Fuentes as left back.
Well, Reyes did play left wing for a little bit, right? In this game,
he did, but I mean, that's how the assist comes from to Fidalgo, because he is in that kind of forward position. But I would argue that he would still step in that position even if he was playing left back, because again, he is a player that Solari's given freedom to kind of push forward, and he does like his fullbacks pushing up and contributing to the attack.
He fits the system. I think that's why Solari is more keen, I think, to start Reyes over Fuentes. Will he start over Linus? I don't know. That seems like a little bit too much of a stretch, even though Linus isn't playing how we need him to play. But I don't think I'll rule out anything with Solari and this season, because until the Olympic players come back, we're going to need help from wherever we can get it. And if that's the solution for right now, then by all means.
And I think the argument could be made that no one really is playing how they're supposed to be playing. I mean, let's get into it. This game was completely terrible by America. The most frustrated I've been, and I know it's early on in the season, but the most frustrated I've been since America started this preseason. There was just no identity out there.
There wasn't.
The fact that we were playing very lateral, resetting the ball at times, it just felt like no one had an answer, right? And players that you needed to come and step up big moments, like your wingers, like your Linuses, like your Leo Suarez's, and your Fidalgos, just weren't really making an impact the way we expected them to. And the midfield was a little bit lost at times. Richard, I think, had a very quiet game. I don't really think much of him when I think about this game. Pedro Aquino, whilst he didn't have as bad as a game as he did against Querétaro, this wasn't a complete 180 from him. He still had moments where you're just like, what is going on? And if Fidalgo, which, again, he's going to get the glory because he scores the goal at the last minute. But, again, I mean, sometimes he sits too deep for my liking. And I think that hurts us going forward at times.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about frustration, going back a little bit here, if you saw Solari, this was probably one of the most frustrated games I've seen him as an America coach. And, that's got to speak volumes to what's going on within the camp right now. That things are just not clicking how he needs it to be. I don't want to say that the magic's running out, because I still think something could come out of this. It's still early in the season, but Solari getting mad like that is not a commodity to see. Like it's rare to see Solari get like that. And when the images were showing, it showed he was visibly frustrated with what was going on with this team. And to points that you made, Ivan, there are players on this team who need to be having games, like good games, every single weekend, and they're just not responding. You said it. Richard Sanchez needs to step it up more. Fidalgo needs to step up. Linus needs to be more productive. As to Leo Suarez and Roger, if he's going to be our best player, games like this can't occur. And I think it's starting to get to him. It's starting to think like, why can't my team click? And I don't know what the answer is going to be for the next game because it's basically the same roster. Nothing's going to change, right?
Yeah.
But he's got to find an answer quick because another game like this and you don't know what can happen because your next opponent is not the same, and we thought this was going to be the easier game, but it just didn't seem like that, right? So you never know what's going to happen with America. Are we going to go back to that same thing where you don't know what America you're going to get every week? I know that used to be Dylan's favorite thing to say. Yeah, you just kind of have to predict like which America are we going to get, and it's never going to be concerning if we don't know how to pick it up. And because like we got the 3 points, but we need to keep it going because this is the stretch of the quote unquote easy games, and we need to win all of them. We already messed
Yeah.
up on the first one, so we can't afford any more mess ups. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny enough that you mentioned Dylan here in the comment section saying, boy, are we going to keep talking about the same problems for the next 2 years? Sure seems like it. And you know what? It goes back to what we were talking about on Twitter yesterday, Christian, where we mentioned about, having no versatility, having no options, having to have Leo Suarez and Linus on the wings. And I told you, well, get used to it because it's about a 2-year period until we get rid of one of these two guys. Or at least till we get to bring in someone else with the way things are going right now with America and the board and the financial stuff and the foreigners, all that stuff. But we're not here to discuss that. We're here to discuss about this game. And you're right. This so-called quote-unquote easy matchups have been so far the most difficult I've seen this America under Solari tenure. They've struggled to get anything going forward. They've struggled to even, string a half decent play together, and even the goals, you look at them, they kind of come at best fortunate for America in the way that things land,
Yeah.
And not to say too the heroics of Jimenez. If your goalkeeper is not on his night like that, Necaxa could have easily been 2 goals up before we even
No.
score a goal.
No, definitely. I think now it's the perfect time to kind of go into that. Oscar Jimenez, with the 99% game. This man really does step up when we need him to step up. And I think that you're right. I mean, this game is to him, and he is the only reason why America did not walk away with a point or even 0 points. Um, I don't think he'll be a starter when Ochoa comes back, but he's definitely putting up the best fight he can, and we need more games like this, especially if we're going to keep with the same last lackluster performances. But even at times you see Jimenez a little bit frustrated, like, come on, like you guys are supposed to be the leaders, talking to his CBs. You guys got to step it up more. Like you show out there and go out there and start leading these guys, and it just seems like they didn't get it. And constant attack and attack. There was a flurry of literally like 6 attacks from Necaxa at one point, and you can see visibly it was starting to get to him.
Yeah, because it's frustrating, especially as a goalkeeper. You're just like, come on, guys, like, give me some help here. Like,
Yeah.
like I can't do it all, And that's the thing. And we'll go into a little bit more, but I just thought this was funny. Jacob Lau saying, Ivan Pineda para el extremo derecho que busca Solari. Dude, if you put me in that position, I'm going to do worse than Leo Suarez if he was 400 pounds heavier. I'm just saying, it's not going to end well for anyone in that. I'm gonna do worse than when who's that player we had from Santos that no, I'll do worse than Edgar Castillo whenever he was at America. And that was bad. But yeah, going back to the whole Oscar debate, he did well. I think I think a little bit too. The fact that he was growing into this game, he got that excess of confidence, and he knew that the spotlight was on him. That when that shot comes in, when we concede a goal, he I don't know. I think he gets a little bit too ahead of himself and parries it the wrong way, gives it directly to the feet of the Necaxa player, and then of course we concede. But it's not to knock down what he did. I even tweeted it. I was like, Jimenez was on God mode, and fortunately for us, he was. And like you said, I don't, this is gonna be great for his resume, but he doesn't take Ochoa's spot. I think it's fair because Ochoa is our captain, and so I don't think. And I think what Ochoa's been doing at the Olympics right now is something to merit as well. As he's been having a good Olympics as well. And I make the argument that the ones Jimenez saves, I think Ochoa gets to them just as well. So
yeah, no, definitely, and I think that's what separates Jimenez from Ochoa. I think Jimenez is a little clumsy when shots come like that. I think he doesn't like you said it when the ball comes and he kind of just like hammers it to the defender to the player. He does that often. Things he should be catching, he kind of just punches away.
yeah,
I think it's that millisecond decision Ochoa does so much better that just separates the both of them, and it counts. Like Ivan, you would know as a keeper, like those decisions counts, especially in moments like this. But no, like you said though, but that's I guess we came up with the 3 points. That's a good thing, and he was on God mode. But it's just like those little mistakes that maybe against other teams, they could come to bite us back in the behind. But for this game, I think he got an A+.
All right. Well, I mean, A+ is a good thing. I like it.
A+ is fine.
Like it.
A 99 is still an A+ in my book.
It is. It technically really is.
That's what I'm saying.
But no, yeah. I mean, he did well, and we go back to the same thing, Christian. Though it's the defense that keeps giving us those worries, and it's been the same defense that we've been having for what 4 years now.
Yeah, same defense for 4 years, and it's not going good. It's things just keep getting worse and worse, and it's time that we just get a whole new revamp. And maybe Chavarreyes is the key to the start of a new, I guess, defensive energy that we need in this club.
Definitely. I mean, while watching the game, I had so much things that I wanted to talk about, and now I feel like I'm just blanking out here. But I don't know what's the one good takeaway we can get away from this, Christian. The only thing that's popping up in my head is that we walk away with the 3 points. Yeah, that's the only positive.
Mm-hmm. That is a positive, but also we have to remember the goals came from somewhere. The goals actually came, and whether it was Chavarreyes, whether it was Fidalgo, whether it could be Lainez or Suarez next game, the goals are there, and I think that's something we were worried about because we didn't look like we were gonna get any, considering last game, or everyone thought it was gonna be like a 1-0 or something, but the goals are there, and I think that's something that the team needs to, I guess, kind of feed off of, especially the front three. Get Linus Fidalgo, Linus Suarez and Roger going to say, listen, guys, it's your time to step up. The goal, like there's goal on this team. We just need to dig deep and find it, and kind of just start connecting a little bit better. Hopefully, in the next game, we do that.
And that's the interesting thing is that these players that so-called would want to take the opportunity because these other players aren't available right now haven't stepped up. Leo Suarez has been, for lack of better words, just terrible on the wing. You've had Linus, who I guess maybe his position really isn't in doubt, but you can always switch Cordoba to play there or Roger. But, he hasn't been the Linus that we know. And then you have a player like Roger, who you would think would want to step up and be the number 9.
Mm-hmm.
But now more than ever, it's clear who Solari's number 9 truly is. And he's in Tokyo right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you can see now that Solari does kind of miss that big body presence and kind of qualities that Henry does attribute to the team. But I do know someone else who kind of does something similar to Henry and used to provide us with goals, and that's Federico Viñas. And unfortunately for Viñas, he's battling with something right now. He will be available for Solari's disposal for the next game. And now it's just with Solari to see if he wants to utilize him. But it's something to keep an eye out, I guess, because if you're looking for goals and your front three isn't providing it, you have a striker that's known to kind of play in the similar system that you want to play. It's just, I guess, when given the opportunity, he hasn't done enough for you. But us, the fans, know that what Venus is capable of, and we know if you just give him opportunities consistently, he can provide for you. It's just right now, last season he didn't play much. This season, the start of the season, unfortunately, he's battling with something. This is the start. Henry won't be here for 2 or 3 more jornadas. So I think this is the time to kind of really tell Solari, listen, I'm here. You can use me. I can be an asset to the team. I can help us win games. You just got to give me a chance. And I think that Venus needs to understand that if given the opportunity, he needs to go and take full advantage of it because he's been given opportunities in the past. Others he's taken, others not so quite. And I don't care if it's 90, 70, 50, 30 minutes. However long you're on the pitch, you have to show everything and give 100%.
And that's the thing. We haven't seen that from players who have been given the starting 11 spot. Like Pedro Aquino is one, right, that we mentioned earlier. Just hasn't been looking good. And I mean, we have comment here from Azul Crema Campeón. Aquino needs some bench time. Nevada should be the titular. And maybe that's an answer.
I
Who
think
knows?
so. And I think I kind of agree with him, honestly. Aquino's been a little lackluster. I mean, I think he's still feeling effects from his injury that didn't let him play Copa America this summer. It's unfortunate because he had the whole summer to kind of recover. But he seems to be getting off to a slow start, and I think that's not ideal for a player of his caliber. And we know what he can bring to the team. But Naveda's there, Naveda's there, and that's what's good about some of the young guys on this team. They're hungry, they're ready, and Naveda is whenever he played, he gave us good performances. So that could be an answer live, and you're right.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be interesting, but we'll have to wait and see what happened. And it's interesting. We'll talk Benedetti. We'll talk Venus in just a moment because you'll have an update on that in regards, Christian, as to how things are going. I just want to, and when we get to that discussion, I'll talk as to why I don't think they're going to make it on the bench either this weekend, excuse me. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. Interesting here. We have a comment, Boom Bap Chris saying, Roger, Henry, Renato as our front three. Rate it. What do you give it?
Our current one's about out of 4. I give this one about a 7.
I give this one a 3.
A 3. Explain.
One, Renato has not been the same Renato ever since that injury he got in the final against Monterrey. His career has taken a big plunder to the downwards, obviously. And I don't think he comes in and steps up and is the same Renato as he was before.
So you would prefer Suarez over Renato?
I would prefer Karel Campos over those two. Right now, because I think once the players come back from Tokyo, I think Cordova goes into that right wing spot.
Really, right wing.
I don't like it. I don't like it, but that's where Solari's going to put him.
That's true.
Roger, I just don't see it. Man has had 1 goal since the start of the season in preseason, and we haven't seen anything. I get it. He's constantly getting fouled, but he's not doing anything. He's arguing with the ref, and that's why the ref's not giving him anything. He's trying to do everything on his own and try to be the creative guy that we know he can be, but it just feels like he's trying to take on too much. And I don't think he's just that player, I
think the problem with Roger is he doesn't want to connect with teammates that can also provide some creativity. Imagine if he got along with Hidalgo, on the pitch, obviously, they can make some magic potentially. But you're right, though. It seems like he feels like he needs to put his whole team on the back, which sometimes you should be able to because you have that much talent and we know you're capable of it, but you can't do it for 90 minutes. I think you're right. Like it's impossible. No one can do it for 90 minutes. And you have players around you who can potentially help you achieve whatever you're trying to achieve on the pitch. It's just like you said. I think sometimes he's just a little bit too selfish. Hopefully that just turns around. Even more so when the Olympic players come back. But you're right though. Right now, it just doesn't seem he's off to the hottest start. But I think that there's still time for most of these players to kind of take a full 360 and kind of get
Oh
back
yeah,
into the
definitely.
the
It's only the second game of the season now. I
right.
mean, if they change things around in Puebla and we see a whole new America, then we're sitting here saying, okay, job well done, guys. Keep it going. I think it's just the reality of it is that we know that these players can do better. They're just not giving us better, and that's the thing that frustrates me, especially given the opportunity that these players have. You think that they'd go out there and try to take it for them, but alas, they haven't. And I think it's something that Solari has to get through to them, which I think he plays a big role in this as well. Him having to kind of assess who can play. Why isn't that they can't, follow these simple instructions of tactics and stuff like that? We'll have to wait and see. My last comment on Roger is that he is just not fijo to his position. He's not disciplined enough to stay in the position that our number 9 needs to stay in. Because
Right.
if Henry's in that position, you don't see Henry starting the playoff in like the left wing position. And now you're just thinking, well, there's no one in the box now for anyone to get a cross in. And that's the thing that frustrates me. It's just like at times the idea is pretty simple for what Solari's trying to do right now, right? Have your wingers touch the byline, have one of them either cross the ball or cut in and take a shot. But whenever they cross the ball, there's no one there
No
really
one
as a
there. Yeah.
presence. We have
Hmm.
Fidalgo. Funny enough, one of the shortest players on the pitch gets ahead to it and gives us the winning goal. But you
And
think
we have a defender and literally on the penalty spot making the goal as well. Like
exactly.
that's
You're like,
not a common
that's
thing.
not
That's
what's
FIFA
supposed to
things.
happen.
Those are FIFA things. That's not real life things, but they're happening. So it's definitely a little weird and strange how Roger does play the number 9 role because like you said, Ivan, I think he's a player that needs space. He's a player that wants to be the one to kind of initiate the play, not the one to kind of just sit in the box and just finish it. That that's just not him. And I get it. There's players like that. It's not new. So I honestly think that maybe if you do get him in a better position, like a winger Roger, I think you would get more out of him. It's just right now, I think he's just trying to do a lot, like you mentioned previously, and that's why I don't think we're seeing the best of him yet. But I think once the Olympic players come back, I think we're going to see a much better version of Roger Martinez.
Well, let's hope so. I think I think we need to see that best version since Querétaro. So we'll see what happens against Puebla. But I mean that pretty much just wraps it up. I mean it was terrible. I mean if you had to rate this, you'd probably give America what out of 10?
A 5,
A 5 at
5,
best because they got
not
the
that
3
bad.
points.
3 points. That's the reason why. And Jimenez
Yeah,
gets four of those 5 points. So
exactly. And
right. So
Chava Reyes, pushes
Tavares and
America to get
Fidalgo,
that extra
yeah,
one.
yeah, and Fidalgo can just split a point.
It's true, man. And it was just so frustrating watching America. You just felt like there wasn't an answer, and you looked at players out on the pitch and on the bench, you're just like, there's still no answer. And I mean, sometimes they say the luck of a champion, right? You win games that maybe sometimes you weren't meant to win. And could this be one for America? I mean, I want to argue, hopefully not so early in the season, but we'll have to wait and see. But again, America gets all 3 points in the home opener against Necaxa and Estadio Azteca, a rainy night in Mexico City. But nonetheless, 3 points, and now Solari has nothing to think about but Puebla, and we'll see what happens. We'll get you guys that preview in just a second. But Christian, anything else to add on in regards to America versus Necaxa?
No, I think we hit on all the points. If anyone else has any additional comments, please leave it in the chat. But yeah, no. Hopefully, American thing can kind of just turn things around against in the next home game. And just want to see a better America performance.
Definitely. I don't want to see that lateral passing that then leads to resetting the ball. And then I think Jacob said it perfectly. He said, it's just so frustrating seeing Aguilera with the ball every 10 seconds.
There's no need. No need for
There's
it.
no need. There's no need for it. Exactly.
I understand the concept of resetting. Like it's like people do it, like teams do it. It's necessary at times. You don't do it when you have full control of the ball and you're trying to move up and you go back. That just doesn't make sense, And we have players that can break lines. So try it. Even if it doesn't work, it's not going to work all the time, but try it at least. You never know when
Yeah,
you're going to catch the defense sleeping.
that's the thing that I just don't see enough creativity from America. That's what frustrates me. Freddie Duran saying, "What do you guys think about a front three of Linus, Vinas, and Roger?"
It's better than I thought, my
Uh,
guy.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it sounds interesting because of what we could have, but Roger on the right hand side has always felt very non-existent for me.
Yeah, and very, very strange. I don't think he feels comfortable at all playing at the right hand side.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good shout, Freddie. It's a good shout. Um, but alrighty then. One last thing. Also, Gonzalez had the game of his life against America. Uh,
They all seem to do.
yeah, right. And then also Gonzalez and Aguilera as captains of both teams. That was something you never thought you'd see. But hey,
The MX.
Liga MX, baby. It is what it is. But all right, let's move on into the next segment. But before we do, I want to remind everyone today's episode is brought to you by Foot Cult. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys check out footcult.com. Get some amazing products, and you guys can get 10% off all of that by using the discount code EEP at checkout to get 10% off. Again,
Look at that.
that is discount code EEP at checkout to get 10% off. Look at this beauty of a kit that we dropped not so long ago. And hey, if there is enough demand, we are willing to make this kit come to life. So let us know whether you guys want to see more stuff like that. And of course, we have plenty of stuff cooking for you guys with Foot Cult. So please make sure you guys follow them on Twitter, on Instagram. Use that discount code. And again, thank you to Foot Cult for sponsoring today's episode. But all right, then, Christian, let's move on into the next segment, which is yours entirely. Any updates in and around the world of Coapa? Transfer rumors, because I see someone asked about it earlier right now. Jacob Lau saying, do you guys think the George Sanchez rumors are true that Everton and Spurs are interested in him? What do you have on that? Nico Castillo rumors, anything? Are we getting a new signing anytime soon, Christian?
All right. So, is my mic working?
Yeah, your mic's working.
Oh, is it working? Okay, because I heard a noise. I didn't know if it was my mic or not. All right. So, transfer news. Yes, everyone loves them. Everyone wants to know about them. We'll start off with the little ones. Nico Castillo. It seems like he does have one offer, but it's not convincing to America. And the offer doesn't even come from anywhere that we know. It comes from his hometown, his home country in Chile. Just the offer is not convincing enough for him. He doesn't want to go back. If anything, he would rather go somewhere like the MLS. Unfortunately, MLS teams are kind of taking precautions on him because of his injury, and they just don't know if he's worth the gamble. That and also just the high salary that he wants. It's just the MLS teams are usually notorious for throwing money at players that really don't deserve it. But for some reason they're taking a caution with Nico Castillo. So there's baby rumors with Castillo, nothing concrete yet. For right now, everything kind of still stays the same. And then the kind of the big one of the day, Jorge Sanchez being looked at by Everton and Spurs scouts. This rumor is true. I know there was a reporter the kind of debunking the rumor, but no, it is true. There are scouts looking at him. There's no offer made. He is on the short list for both teams, but he is not high on the list. If you know, they have other options, but the Olympics performances have raised an eyebrow in these two teams, and they're just gonna watch them closely for the rest of the Olympics, and let's see what comes of it. No offer yet from either Spurs or Everton. It doesn't seem like anything's gonna concrete yet. But just keep an eye out. I mean, I don't think George leaves this summer. If anything, he'll probably leave in the winter or next summer. But yeah, that's it on Jorge. And it seems like there's also scouts on Cordova, but like again, it's just scouts watching him. It's not any offer made. When there's an offer made, it becomes much more serious because then you have the possibility of him leaving. Right now, there's no possibility of anyone leaving. I know that's not something you want to hear, but that's just kind of like the thing is right now. It's just I'm looking at you, but I'm not going to offer for you just yet.
Which sounds about right, Sounds about right. Now I just want everyone to just kind of take a second and realize that the players that have more of a possibility of leaving are Mexican and none of them are foreigners. So we are stuck in the same position that we have been stuck for the past 3 months. No one's leaving. We haven't found a home for Renato. We haven't found a home for Nico Castillo. We haven't found a home for Nico Benedetti. And it looks like Viñas, for the most part, is staying at America. No one is moving. No one
It
is
just
gonna
seems like
move.
that for now. It seems like that for now. There's still time, and there's a very long market of hours. But yes, Ivan, as of right now, it seems like your predictions are coming true.
I want to remind everyone that we have officially started August. That gives America 4 weeks. As of right now, recording, America has 4 weeks and 1 day to make things happen. 4 weeks and 1 day. The timer's on Santiago Baños and everyone at America to get something done. 4 weeks. That sounds like a lot of time and not enough time at the same time. Because you got
Pretty
to
much.
move 2 foreigners, not just one. You got to move 2 foreigners. It's not looking good. And next week, Christian, if we come back and we're in the same boat, that's 3 weeks. And that's even less.
That's even less.
So, I mean, let's see what happens. Things are very quiet in and around Coapa. That can either be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm putting my money on the ladder. So, we'll have to wait and see. But again, those are your updates. Those are your rumors. That is what's going on right now in Coapa. No one likes it. I don't even think the players involved with this like it, but the reality of it is we have what we have, and we'll have to wait and see what America does, and we just know it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. One last thing here. Chris saying, I don't want George to leave. Layun is a full, and Layun be a full-time starter.
Yeah.
That's debatable. I think we can, well, yeah, it's true. But I mean, look,
I agree
America
with
also
them.
needs money, so.
That's true, but I don't know. That'd be a big loss in my opinion.
Any information on this? I did see America was in talks with Santos / Atlas ownership for Benedetti. Any info on that?
Not that I know of, no.
All right. Well, we'll get you guys more news in regards to all the transfers going on in and around America for next week. And if you guys don't want to wait for next week, you guys can also follow us on social media at Eagle Eye Podcast. We have you guys covered with all things in regards to Las Águilas del América, in regards to transfer rumors, who's leaving, who's going, who could potentially come in. Spoiler alert, no one. And, things in and around the world of America.
You're so funny.
Well, I mean, look, Christian, call me, what is it, Negative Nancy?
Yeah, Negative Ivan.
Call me whatever you want. But I'm going to say here on September 1st, though actually we don't podcast on September 1st. I'm going to say here on September 6th, Labor Day weekend. Labor Day,
Wait,
actually.
we don't get off on Labor Day?
Actually, you know what? Who knows? Because I might be flying in from Dallas that day. So that's not the point. Point is, come September 1st, I'm going to be like, I told you guys. I told you. Okay. And hey, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Also, if you trailed me this weekend, you won money because I told you about the house and we won. So,
hey, by the way, if it wasn't for Jimenez, we would have lost the house.
I have a new house now, so there you go.
Alrighty then. Well, that does it in regards to that aspect. All right, Christian, let's wrap up today's episode with the preview. America versus Puebla, second game at the Estadio Azteca, which I think is going to do America some good to not have to travel, going to stay at home, get to do what we do best, and that is hopefully win in the Estadio Azteca. Funny enough, I was hearing the commentators, and I can't believe that this stat was true, but America is undefeated under Solari in the Estadio Azteca, which is something that I don't think we've had for quite some time. The that feeling of having the Azteca as a fortress has kind of been lost here and there, but it's nice to know that Solari has integrated that back again.
No, definitely, and I think it's just I think the players just feed off of it. Feed off of playing at home. I think Vladi understands the importance of being at home and presenting yourself as a force at home. I think it'll get even better when more fans start attending the game. Can we just take a step back? I was a little disappointed with the attendance this weekend. I think that.
But I told you it was gonna be like that because it was gonna rain.
Yeah, and it sucks too because they even got an earlier start time too. And I just expected more fans. Hopefully, we get more this weekend. Just a little disappointed, but when more fans start attending the games and when you really start feeling, somewhat what the aesthetic can be, I think that's gonna add on to the fire that Solari's been lighting under these players. And like I said, it's a very positive thing that Solari has instilled that in the players to kind of make it known that this is your house, you have to defend it, and you have to play it's like it's a final basically at your house. You don't want to lose at your home. You want teams to fear you. Like, look at the schedule. Damn, we got America at the Azteca. Let's chalk it up as an L already.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants, and I think little by little he's getting that. So we'll have to wait and see. Spoiler alert for you, Christian. No one's gonna attend the way that they want to attend. We got thunderstorms all week in Mexico City. So
you have the Mexico City weather on your phone.
Oh yeah, dude. Always. I always have my home weather on my app, dude. Always gotta know what's going on back home. But that game is also going to be early enough, Christian, that
same
fans can go and attend because it is another 5 p.m. kickoff time, Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. local time, and Central Standard Time, if that's how you know it as. And of course, for you, Christian, it is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I say local time because,
Is someone behind you?
I hope not.
The kind of door that's kind of open. No, I think so. Or the door's behind you?
Dude, I hope that door's been open.
You sure? Can someone go back?
Yeah, because I never closed my.
Okay. Because I saw I think someone walked by and I saw a shadow, and that's why I noticed it. I thought someone was behind you. No, I'm sorry, man. My bad.
Well, I'm not going to bed tonight. It's okay. If there's a ghost here, I'll just tell them to wake me up in time for the Mexico Olympic match. Yeah. So again, that game is early enough for fans to hopefully make it. That game is also going to be broadcasted through the NA, and our beloved AJ is going to be covering that game live for you guys over on Twitter. So you guys are going to be covered up to date with everything going on in and around that matchup. Now, Christian, what can we expect from this game? What changes do you think Solari is going to do? Maybe not so much in the starting 11, but what is he going to try to implement on these players in order to get a better matchup than we did against Necaxa?
I think Solari realized last game that his players were not creative, they were not aggressive enough. I think I think he needs to focus on that on training this week. Whatever 11 he works with, their mission is to go forward. Forward. This Puebla team is not the Puebla team from last year. They are struggling heavily right now. And this is literally the perfect game to instill confidence in certain players like the front three and like Richard Sanchez. So this definitely has to be an all-out. You guys gotta go, and don't be afraid to take chances. Yes, you might lose the ball here or there, but know how to come back defensively. I think that's one of the things that Solari does well with his teams is lose the ball and you kind of just come back and regroup as a team. That kind of just minimizes breakaway chances by a lot. And I think if we can just keep pouncing on the Puebla defense, we're gonna break them eventually. And we're gonna get a goal, and then another goal here, and then we can kind of just go on a run here. I don't think we're gonna go like a 5-0 game. I don't expect that, obviously not right now at least. But I could see us kind of hurting Puebla in the possession and then turning that into goals. I need another solid game from Jimenez. I don't think Jimenez will have a lot of trouble this game, only because, like I said, this Puebla team is not the same. They're struggling heavily right now. I think this is the perfect game for America to kind of just go out there and really show that they are not the team that we've seen the past 2 weeks.
I like it. I think perfectly. You put it perfectly, right? Being as aggressive as possible and having that instilled in their players' mind that, hey, look, go out there, get the 3 points, but also get the goals. Because goal differential at the end of the day might come to play a role in this, qualification time. whether that puts you in first place, second place, third place. We're trying to aim in that top 2 spots like we did last season, and so, but we'll have to wait and see. Dylan saying, so I'm hearing a clean sheet against Puebla. Then
Yes.
let's hope so, right? I mean, we have won against Querétaro. Could have, well, actually, I don't think we deserved a clean sheet against Necaxa of how terrible we played, and we didn't get one. But I think this is a game where you start to hopefully turn things around for the better. So we'll have to wait and see. Give me your predicted lineup. Does anything change?
Yes, I have. I think 2 changes, or yeah, 2 changes. I think. For my particular lineup, because it's kind of almost the same as last week's starting lineup. So I'll have Jimenez in there. Obviously, I have Layun, Sebas Cáceres, Bruno Valdez, and Chava Reyes as the defense. Santi Naveda, Richard, and Fidalgo as the midfield. And up top is the same 3: Linus Suarez and Roger Martinez.
All right, and then could we just quickly address this saying, "Damn, they closed the door behind you." That is not true, because I would have heard that. All right, I would have heard that. You guys are just playing with me. I'm scared of the dark. You guys know this already, and you guys are just trying to play on my fears. But to that starting 11 that you just put, interesting enough, you are benching Aquino.
I am betting Aquino. I think he needs this game to kind of reassess his mind. Like, why isn't he, doing what Aquino does normally? Maybe it's just what he needs. I think just the mental reset. Even though it's only the third game of the season, but it's just something doesn't seem right with him right now. I think everyone can see it. There's not the Aquino that we know from last season. So Naveda looked hungry, and I think Naveda can do well this game against this Puebla team.
I like it. Sebas Bruno, right? That's, I think, the partnership that we were all expecting. I was surprised not to see Bruno start against Necaxa.
Me too.
But we'll have to wait and see whether he does start against Puebla, which I think he might. Again, we'll have to wait and see. The front 3, I mean, not really much of a change can you do, right? I mean, unless you put Carrera, Leo, or Viñas for Roger. I mean, there's a couple ways to switch it up, but this, in theory, should be our strongest front 3.
Yeah, in theory, yes, in theory.
And I guess that's all we have to work with right now is theory. But where was I going with this? I had a really good point to make, and now all I could think about is
the door.
The door, and the fact that Bruno is playing over Aguilera. There was a point to be made here, Christian. And it's completely slipped my mind. But it's okay. We'll come back to it later. We'll see if it ever comes back to me. Oh, yes. Never mind. I've got it. Now, we mentioned that Benedetti and Federico Viñas, in theory, should be good to go for this matchup, right? Obviously, because they've missed so much, they wouldn't be taken into consideration for the starting 11 spot. But I would also argue that they're not going to make the bench either. Remember, we are in a new era where you can only have 10 foreigners on your team, and only 8 of them can see the match day squad.
Right.
So, in theory, you would have to sit out Aguilera, and either Benedetti or Viñas takes that spot. And who do you think takes it? If it is the case that Aguilera sits out. Viñas. I agree. I think it has to be Viñas.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of them are going to see the bench.
I don't think so either.
I think it's going to be Aguilera.
If either or do see the bench, I think that'd be a big surprise to everyone.
No, they both can't.
No, I said either one. If either or.
Oh, either or. Okay.
If either or sees the bench, it'd be a surprise to everybody.
It would be. But then again, you don't need them, because Aguilera, in theory, can see the tribuna, and you have Jordan Silva that can play center back, or should be playing center back. But that's a whole different point. But again, don't get your hopes up. Viñas and Benedetti are not going to make the bench. I don't really know how we're going to work with this whole foreigner squad, Chris saying Jordan Silva equals Emmanuel Aguilera, which I think he's onto something right there.
Listen.
Could be a possibility. But all right, let's say that this is the starting 11 that does go out and play. What do you want to see tactically speaking? I know we don't want to see so much resetting of the ball, but what do you want to see America do?
Like I said earlier, I think you got to be more aggressive with the ball. You got to just go out there and just, kind of just start breaking down the Puebla wall, and just get some chances and be creative with your passes. Start making these runs that players, like Suarez and Linus know how to do. Get in behind the defense. Roger, start doing the little step over feints and shooting the ball. Like, you guys got to just come up with anything to not be as stagnant as you've been this at the start of the season. I think once you start being that much more creative, teams get thrown off by that because teams don't know what you're gonna do next because you're just throwing them with different things, and you're just keeping them on their feet. And somewhere how they're gonna slip up. It does happen. You throw at them different things and they're not always gonna be prepared for it. Like Chris just said, take shots from deep. Even though if they don't, they go out in like the fifth deck, but at least they're trying. I would like to see more shots near goal or at least on goal. But yeah, definitely take more shots long time. We have players. We have Chava Reyes. We have Richard Sanchez. We have Roger Martinez. We have Leo Suarez who know how to shoot the ball. But, you just haven't seen that as much as you would like to in the start. And I think if you just do that, be more creative, keep the Puebla defense guessing, you have a better shot at scoring a goal and in theory having the game on your hands and easier to control instead of this lackluster, painful, kind of just crawling for a victory type play that we've been seeing. It doesn't suit us at all, and it shouldn't be suiting us with the type of squad that we have.
Definitely. And I want to take a moment just to reiterate what Chris was saying there. Take that long shot. We don't see that enough from this America side. I feel like they want to walk the ball into the back of the net at times, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to be, like you mentioned, a little bit more spontaneous with the way that you go at people's defense and trying to break down their wall. And sometimes a 30-yard shot is exactly what we need. I mean, you saw that from America last season. I mean, you saw Richard score a half-court shot, right?
Exactly.
You saw a couple worldies. You saw, Pedro
You saw
Aquino
Suarez score. Pedro Aquino, exactly.
So
these are players that know how to shoot. You just gotta go. Let it out, man. Let it out.
Yeah, you just gotta go out there, put your laces behind it, and like you mentioned, even if it goes a bit off target, at least start getting that integrated as part of the play. Get that instilled in you that, you know what, I have the space, I have a 20, 30-yard shot. Let me have a go at it, because look at Necaxa. They took a long-range shot and it worked out perfectly for them. Our goalkeeper spilled it and they capitalized on it, right? And I think that's something that America needs to do.
Sometimes that's all it is.
So, like you mentioned, be a little bit more creative, have a little bit more kind of creativity. I'm looking at Fidalgo to really spark this attack. We've seen it do it before, and at times he showed it, right? Getting into pocket of spaces, trying to open up the play. I just don't like that sometimes he has to start the play so deep in between that I'm just like, well, now what's going to happen, And I would also argue, too, that sometimes Fidalgo is the reason why we reset so much.
I can see that. I can see that 100%.
He gets the ball, takes on one, and then he's like, oh, that can't go there. There's two players. So he's like, let me go back. And he's like, well, I got to force my way even more back. And now it's like, well, now we've reset all the way back.
Yeah.
So I need him to be a little bit more decisive when he has an opportunity. He thinks about making a pass, and he's like, I'm probably just going to play it safe and not make that pass.
Which sometimes it is the right play, but most of the times also as well, you can't see him just doing it alone. And it could be his fault that he's doing it alone too, because he's not telling, hey, listen, come with me. We could try to get something here, or talk about it before the game. Listen, if I do this, I need you to make this run. It's just communication. I think something's not clicking between Fidalgo, Richard, and the front three, and that needs to change because once they start clicking a little bit more, you're gonna start seeing the more the little cheeky passes here and there that these players can do, and then in turn break down the wall. And then get more determined shots on net. So definitely, I think you're right with that. I think Fidalgo needs to kind of be the one to kind of just lead the troops, saying, "Listen, I'm gonna do this, but you guys also need to do this to help me, and we have a better chance of getting a goal if we do this."
Definitely. I want to read out something Chris said, saying Fidalgo is in a natural cam. He really should be playing more behind, to be honest. That's why I've said if Richard was to be sold, Fidalgo takes over that spot perfectly. Cordoba then slides into that cam position. Thoughts?
I like it. I think Fidalgo does have that kind of mentality of he wants to be the one to kind of just start it up and kind of just take the ball down and whatever he sees in front of him, go play with it. At times though, I think that it could suit him. I just don't know if yeah, I mean it can. I can see it. I just need to see it in game for me to really give my 100% analysis, because it just seems at times maybe he's not fit for it. He has qualities for it, but I just got to see it in action. So maybe we'll see it sometime during the season, and hopefully we get a kind of a gist of what he can do. If he starts to play from behind.
I think if Solari was to implement that, to put Cordoba and Fidalgo in the center of the pitch, we need to see more of what the Olympic squad is running right now, that 4-3-3, where you have the three midfielders, where it's two center midfielders and one center defensive mid. Then you can truly see Fidalgo play in that position, because one of them will have a little bit more liberty to go and one can cover, or they both can go, and then you have a good center defensive mid who can cover. I think, but what Solari wants to do is have a cam at the moment, and I think preferably he wants Fidalgo in that spot.
Right, because of the players he has available.
Yeah,
but who's to say that
he had Cordoba last season?
You're right.
He played him on the wing.
Right, because Richard, was having a good season-ish last year, and you can't take off Richard. If you have Richard, you're going to use Richard available, right? Like, it's just one of those players that you kind of just need to have there. And it didn't seem like, even when Richard got subbed out, he had other players in mind that to take over the position instead of dropping Fidalgo and then sliding Cordoba over as Cam. He put an Ana Medina in there sometimes for Richard. So it just seems like Suarez doesn't see Fidalgo as that role. That's why I kind of just was a little against it. But I do see where Chris is coming from, and where maybe he can excel at it. It's just, like I said, I need to see it in action first before I could really see if he would be a true fit there.
Definitely. Now we have Jose Ramirez saying, I think we need Renato instead of Leo. And you know what, Jose? I think a lot of Americanistas would agree with you, but the reality of it is that Renato is still non-existent for this America board and for this America team. He is not gonna.
That road.
Yeah, he's not gonna be playing for America. So, but hey, he's still getting paid by America. So if you ask me, the one winning here is Renato, and we're losing.
That's true.
But hey, that's another hour topic of conversation, which we do not have. He said, I'll even take Benedetti over Leo. Your thoughts on that?
I said it a million times, but I get clowned for it though. So,
but Benedetti on the right just isn't the same.
Benedetti on the right was
saving
have our
speed.
butts.
I mean, neither does Leo, but I feel like Leo's a lot more comfortable hugging the touchline than Benedetti is.
Benedetti would 100% do better than Leo Suarez on the right wing this season. I take one leg Benedetti over Leo Suarez right now.
I think you alone only, because I don't think a lot of us would.
And that's fine. So we'll keep struggling with Leo Suarez, and Benetti's there waiting for an opportunity, but it's all right though. We'll keep Leo Suarez. All right, we'll keep Leo Suarez.
All right then. Well, to wrap it up here, what is your prediction for Saturday's matchup?
I'm gonna run it back 2-0 America.
2-0 America. All right, I am gonna go 1-0 America. I'm gonna go conservative. I'm gonna go the Solari way, and we get a goal. Imagine you get an early goal, like a 2-minute goal, and then it stays 1-0 for the rest of the match. Man, how salty would you be?
See, Jacob's with me.
Oh, Jacob's with Christians. I don't know whether he's going with a 2-0. Oh no, because he just came back with his prediction. Jacob's also going with a 1-0. But I think he's with you in regards to Benedetti.
Yes, he is. Yes, I that's what I got from it too. So we're there with that.
All right, we got AP Jr. going with a 2-1 victory for America. Anyone else want to weigh in their prediction before we wrap up the episode? But I will say this, though. I think if America can get these 3 points and playing a little bit more convincingly, then I think we can ease off a little bit.
On the right track,
yeah,
right?
and then you think we're tracking back to where we need to be, right?
Right.
All right. We have Jose going with a 3-1 victory for America.
I can see that too. Funny enough, I could see that.
But I've told you guys, this America team under Solari doesn't score a lot of 3-goal games, right? They're very far few and in between. So just keep that in mind. Solari's not the type of manager to go out there and ask his team for 3 goals or more. But again, could it change against Puebla? It could so. Chris going with a 1-0 victory also. Leo Suarez free kick goal. Interesting. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But that pretty much wraps it up, Christian. We'll be with you guys next week to talk things all America in regards to that aspect. The transfer window clock will continue to wind down, and will America do anything? I highly doubt it. But again, tune in next week to see what our thoughts and opinions are. And keep it with us over on social media, whether that's Instagram, Twitter, and or Facebook. Oh, excuse me. We will have you guys covered with all things America in regards to that game against Puebla and everything else that goes in and around the world of Coapa, whether that's ladies, whether that's men's, and whether that's our players at the Olympics. We'll have you guys covered with all that thing and all that aspect. One last thing, Christian, that Cordoba celebration against Korea. Your thoughts?
Amazing. I loved it. It's nice to see that these players are recognizing who the real GOAT is, in the footballing world. No, it was great to see. I loved it.
Definitely too. And you know what? Cordoba won me over just a little bit more after that celebration. So,
dude, I need a poster of that. I need a poster of Cuauhtémoc doing it, and I need a poster of. Okay, so I need a poster of Cuauhtémoc doing both celebrations, and then I need right underneath Henry and then Cordoba doing it the same way.
Yeah, well, we'll get that going. We'll get some graphic going now for that, and we'll shoot it on Twitter, so people can have that.
Nah, yeah, dope. Yeah, 100%.
Alrighty then. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming out. Sorry about the inconvenience of being a little bit late, but hey, sometimes life gets the best of us. But we did have fun. It was good. This was great. We'll be back next week, talk things all America, and then we'll hopefully have some good news for you guys. If not, then you guys can blame Solari or Baños, but most likely Baños. Alrighty then. You guys have a wonderful time. You guys have take it easy. Christian, are we betting the house on Saturday or no?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, bet the house on Saturday.
Bet the house on Saturday. You guys have that. So go to your local bookies. Say that Christian send you guys over and that we're betting the house. Bet 2 houses at that. Why not? Go for it. Live life at the largest scale possible. But with that said, you guys have a wonderful night. We'll be back. We'll be talking all things America next week. And until next time, you guys take care. And if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys
wait, Ivan, the door did close actually.
Oh, hells no. AP Junior said, Ivan, there's someone behind looking at you. Nope. Nope. Okay, he said, JK. You know what? I'm done. I'm closing this because now I'm not going to be able to sleep whatsoever. Okay? You know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. You guys have a wonderful night. You guys stay safe. If you guys don't hear from me tomorrow, that's because the ghost has gotten me. And he's going to be hosting next week's episode. All right? So you guys have a wonderful time. Take care. And as always, Arriba America. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast and get all the latest news and coverage. And subscribe to our podcast wherever it is you may listen.